Okay, before we begin, I haven't received work from the group that I've dis- designated last time that we met, which is about the community project trial work that I gave out last week, Wednesday. I already received some from Bunce and one from Lay and Mosby. But I'm alright, Bamigim, task blue now. By working, so I'm alright. Activity less. So I'll give you a task and then you do it. So that you will poret lo ba you fail na you ba pasim. Yeah, but those that submitted have done a good job on it. So now we'll try to
Thank
go
you.
into in-depth, detailed one so that we can be able to do a better community project for assessment that will be given today. But make sure you do class activity. I'm no good, but it will help you to think through things and then you can be able to do a better job when you are given a task to do, which is accessible. So that's where we stopped last week. So now we'll continue on from where we left last week and we'll touch a bit more on the community project.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. So we go to the first feature of a community project, which is community involvement. And it has two parts to it. The first one is participation, where it involves active engagement of community members in the actual planning of the project, decision making, and implementation. The second point, it talks about volunteering, and it's about being reliant on volunteer efforts to support the project execution. And if you look at it, it's kind of talking about us having a common interest or similar interest in terms of developing a project in our community. For instance, if you like making a fish project, you won't work with people that don't have similar interest in fish projects. Why? Because those are the ones that will not fully participate and volunteer in those projects. So if you want to develop a project, you must always try to work with people that have similar interest. So they can give their time, effort, and resources to ensure that this project is workable or comes into fruition. So those are some of the things that we have to take into consideration when we are developing a community project. The second one is the project must have a clear purpose or a goal. And we have problem solving where it addresses a specific local need or issues. And it gives the example of environmental impact, educational and social. Social, it can include also the socio-economical impact of a community, which you can, apart from doing projects, you can also conduct small programs like financial literacy programs or some other um, coffee projects that will help to boost the economic of that particular community which you are trying to work with. So apart from those projects we have some social projects that we can always focus and work on. And it must be a shared vision. which is a common goal or mission agreed upon by all the stakeholders. So those are the 2 points that derive from the second point of us having a clear purpose or a goal of a community project. The third one is about us having a good collaboration, us having a good working relationships and partnerships with those partners that will help us get the project off the ground. So it emphasizes more on partnership. That's all. So it it emphasizes more on partnership, where it's a kind of a cooperation between community groups, institutions, organizations, and sometimes government or the local businesses that we have in the community. Those are the stakeholders which we can always work in partnership with. And it also a collective effort team where we have to pull or extract all the resources, skills, and time from various participants. And that's where asset-based resources comes in. First time we've been discussed law, asset-based resource, where we have to utilize the craftsmen, skillful people, resources people that we have in the community to be able to execute the project. In terms of us looking for external support, we have to start internally within. Why? Because you starting within the community, that project will sustain, and people will take ownership of it because they feel like they are empowered and they feel like they participate in the planning process. So they are told by Field Museum, they own this thing. They are part of the thing. So they can be able to sustain it in the long run. The fourth one, it talks about the local relevance, where that project must be context specific, tailored to meet the unique needs and priorities of the local population. And also it talks on cultural sensitivity, being respectful of our local traditions, values, and identity. Have you ever faced with some obstacles when going out into communities to carry out some small community projects or workshops? Did you always faced with some cultural issues or not?
Oh, hello. This
Yes.
Mosby here.
Okay.
Yes. In a community where I live, that depends on who is leading the project.
Yes,
If they are
the-
good people, then people will agree. But if they are not the right people for the project, and there will be opposition. Thank you.
That's right. So in a project, we always have executives, those people that spearhead or leading the project. And we must also be mindful of whom we elect or select to lead the project. Some of the traits that we will look at, it's about the person being a trustworthy person, and has good reputation in the community, must be respected, honest. Those are the things or the virtues or the traits that we can see in a person that we will elect or select to run a certain project. So that's a good one from POM. Any other obstacles that we faced or we will face when we are out in the community for a community project? Anything from bonds or lay?
Good afternoon. From campus and lay, Jacob here from Barnes. Concerning some of the issues that will be faced, I think one of the issue that is an ongoing is like land disputes. That's the thing. Like when there is no project, there'll be no complaint or whatever. But when you want to start a project, then the people try to react and say we are the landowners and all these sorts of things coming up all over the place. Yeah, that's what I experience. Thank you.
So still we are in cultural issues and sensitivity. So Jacob here in Barnes raised something good about land being one of the cultural issues that by me face him when we are to do some small community projects back in our own community or our own villages. So how can we go about addressing such issue in terms of land?
For me, it's like now individual cultural group or ethnic groups, they need to have a plan to register their land. I mean, the incorporate land group association. So in terms of land sharing benefit, everyone can be part of that. If there'll be a big project or a small project, so the government will know what's happening in terms of funding. They can easily tap into supporting the project because there is no issue between the land and the customary thing and all this.
Thank you, Jacob. For that case now, we must consider working with the legitimate landowners, because they are also part of the stakeholders that we look at. So we work as a team, collaboratively, as our pointry said. So time you may lose more out now. They are the ones who's gonna cause disruptions to the project. Na some so always make them feel part of the team, take them on board and give them some responsibilities to do so. They will sustain the project and take ownership because landowners are the legitimate custodian of the land. Just something for us to think about. Okay, the fifth one must be. It talks about what? The fifth one talks about resource mobilization. You have to mobilize or you will be mobilized. Yeah, sound funny, but yes, that's the reality. Yeah. So it has 2 points here. We talk about funding aspect of it and in-kind support. So often dependent on grants, donations, or local fundraising. And also in-kind support, we looked at the use of donated goods, services, or spaces that we will use to accomplish our community projects. The sixth one is inclusivity and equity. It talks about the accessibility, open to diverse groups, including the disadvantaged one, people living with disability, with HIV and AIDS, or the ones that all Tranguline, low community. We must always make them feel like they are part of the project. And also to consider fair representation equal opportunity for input and leadership role. And Lidis Lamos chance lo imi try out all line with raw talent. Those that are quiet na. Stop see, let's try to use them because those people are very dangerous. The quiet ones. So we always try to use everyone. The silent one are the dangerous one. So if you don't use them, they will destroy the project and it won't sustain. Okay, that's for the 6th point. And I think we have 2 left. The 7th one is the sustainability, long-term impact.
Can I make a point on point 6? From Lay, good afternoon, Barnes and Mosby.
Speak.
Okay, thank you. Point number 6, it involves volunteer in that area. I am speaking from the real fact. According to Habitat for Humanity International, it was once established in Papua New Guinea, but now stop more because this non-government organization was here to build homes for the unfortunate ones, a dream home. And I was actively part of it. And we saw this equity. Equity reduces especially homeowners funding.
Yep.
It helps volunteers to help to look after them and then sustain them and in whatever way they do. Because lumbering log is very, very expensive exercise. You need enough strength, something or something, but at the moment now, Habitat is not existing in the country. Maybe they shifted to Fiji. But from my experience, everybody wants to participate in the fairly have a dream to own a house. But then it comes to the volunteers who's want to say, carry the DY from bulls and help the carpenters to build a house and all these things. That is why our Habitat for Humanity in Papua New Guinea is no longer operating. So it is the point that I want to make here is, as we have stated, we have, our geography is not the same. That's one of the advantages. And then secondly, to look after the volunteers and then even the program coordinators is another thing. When we fail them, the project becomes null and void, no use. So yes, I'm very happy we got this close to maybe give us fair ideas to educate our ones in the community and all this. Thank you.
Yes, good point raised here by late team. I think Habitat for Humanity, it's been run by someone, I know him, it's like big plus skin man, black skin.
Martin.
Yes, that's the guy. So I think 2 or 3 people from my community, they came and we went to talk with him about this housing scheme. And also
Yes.
yes, he mentioned something about us giving him in some equity before they come in and build the houses. And so I think only 1 out of the 3 that went to see him got their house built, but the 2 haven't. So if you look at it, it's about sharing the benefits. So suppose volunteer something, then you have to contribute your local resource assets that we have.
Yes, yes.
That is our skills, the trees that will be logged for timbers. Those are the resources that we can contribute as our equity towards that project.
Yeah.
But otherwise, low side low bank nas like they will want you to put in some capital as your equity so that you become part of that project or kind of same. So you will take ownership and you will sustain that thing because you contributed in one way or the other for that project.
Yeah.
But it was a nice project, but somehow it just ceased. So yes, thank you for sharing. We move down to capacity building, where it talks about empowering the community to maintain or expand the project independently. If you look at it, empowerment or participation kind of back any na. People will not participate if they are not empowered. So many times we used to get ourselves confused with participation and empowerment in anything that we do apart from community projects. So if you look at it, people will only participate in a project or a given task if they are empowered. Kind of suppose now me give me plus la task, one plus task on now, and if I don't teach you what to write or how to go about completing this task, you won't know how to go about completing this task. But if now you sit down in the classroom for these 3 weeks and I gave you a task at the end of the session, you will be able to complete the task because now you are empowered. You have been imparted with some of the skills. So that's the difference between empowerment and participation. So we covered 9, 10 already because I already mentioned something about empowerment. And 8, it talks about the measurable outcomes. Evaluation, meaning we must have a system in place to track the progress of our project and also to measure its impact. And feedback loops. So in terms of feedback, baik si feedback lo ba?
Feedback is you do the evaluation or you get a feedback from the community.
From the beneficiaries or the community, yeah. They are the ones who will give you the feedback. So when I work you mokim, it must be transparent, accountable, it must get impact because at the end of the project, you will be evaluating your project, so it must be a community-based project and must have a good impact on the lives of the people. So that's where evaluation comes in and communication as well in 9. So those are just additional features apart from the ones that we've gone through, the 4, during our last week class. Okay, anything?
Mosby.
Comment? Yes.
Yes, Mosby's got a question here. It's Ako. Lamos, just thinking about the capacity building, the empowering the community to maintain
Yep.
and expand the projects. They talked about empowerment, and I was thinking more or less on attitude of Melanesians. We always refer to empowerment as something of in form of payment, and you know, when we try to teach them certain skills, but it doesn't go well with them because there's no form of payment, something there to get out of it. So how do you address those sort of issues when you face it?
Okay, thank you. Like I've mentioned earlier on about volunteering and us having a partner to work in a project. And those people are the stakeholders now, so they must have similar interest. So if you are to impart certain skills or training or workshop to a group of people, you must have a target audience. You are not just gonna give survey nothing or throw me one workshop nothing to anybody in the community, but you must have your target audience, and that's where you're gonna measure the impact of your training or workshop or the skills that you are imparting. If not by me just throw me nothing, our skills knowledge. So those are the things to be considered when you are trying to empower a certain group of people that must become your target audience for a specific project at a specific time, so that you can be able to get the real result in a real-time situation. Okay, anything else? Any comment? Okay, if not, then we'll move to our next presentation, and then I'll give you your task so you can start to work on it, because we have only next week now, so you start early and then you can be able to submit on time. So, blame up.
Hello, Mosby.
Yes.
Lamos, I just want to ask if you can explain the task again for us to do the project next week or following week. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you just give us some more insight? Yeah.
Thank you. The task will come right after this PowerPoint presentation. And then we should call it off for this afternoon, and then you'll start work on your task.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, let's proceed on. Time, so you may run against time na. Okay, our next presentation is still based on community project, but now we will go into the detail by looking at the process now, the process that involved for us to go about developing a community project. And there are 5 elements that we have to consider for us to design a good community project. The first one is vision. Vision is the bigger picture of what we want to see the change in our community or lives. So that's the vision Okay, now some of us might get confused with the word vision and dreams are. So I want you to work in pairs or just discuss with someone sitting next to you about the differentiation between vision and dreams. Take 2 minutes for that and then we'll continue.
Yes, what do you think?
Differentiate between vision and dreams. Don't cheat yourself by going to Google and search. You just give me what you think. You differentiate these two words in line with community project. Nogen differentiating law, nara pro dream na vision, but it must be in line with community project. Okay, I think that's enough. We have to get some feedback from the group. So what are your visions and your dreams? Can I have some sweet dreams and visions?
Sense and beautiful.
Okay, thank you. Alan? Or anyone else? Yep.
Yeah, about this particular two terms to define, vision and dreams. I think vision is a long-term plan. Look at the thing for the future, plan to come. But the dreams, you plan to do it early, maybe within a month or so.
So now you talk short-term goal, middle term, and long term. So dream is a short-term goal that you want to achieve in a shorter period of time.
Short period of time.
And vision now is your long-term goal that you're gonna achieve in the long run,
Yeah,
more
that's
than
what I
5 years
think.
time. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, must be.
Okay, must become.
Yeah. Dream is an inspiring idea or aspiration that speaks imagination or passion, while the vision is talking about a vision in a clear and specific picture of what you want to achieve.
Very good explanation of these two words. Okay, we still have
Yes,
someone
alright.
from Bansi here.
Thank you. Our group is saying something along what you all have discussed, but we are saying that dream and vision are both mental picture that we have on doing something, and the difference between the both is that vision is born out of a problem. A vision is motivated by a problem, while a need, while a dream is more like you're motivated by an achievement or accomplishment or something like this. Yeah. So the difference is what motivates this mental picture.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the keyword here is motivation. Okay, Paul.
I think vision is a set plan, set out, and it's like it's set out and a target where we work towards that plan. But dream is just imagination that may not be successful. Sometimes it may be not be successful, but the vision is a substantial point where you work towards it. Whether you fail the project or whatever, but the vision is still there. You will still work somehow to achieve that dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good explanation. So it's a long-term goal. You go Punon Kira, but you still have that vision to accomplish what you actually plan for or you have in mind. So it's kind of a strategic thing. That you like to achieve in that. Okay, Lay. Gentleman in Lay.
Uh, so just a thought, well, sa tubla tok ya from Lay. Griman and Bipla, Bipla, like it's like you're wishing for something. And you think you like something you are wishing for it. Your aspirations, what do you want to do? Na kind of but vision, and it's a focus. Your vision is a vision. Now you are focusing down on a particular thing that you want to do, and in that vision, and providing plan, a strategy, na kind of thing. Do you want a big picture? Big something you like and see the big set of things. What do you want to do, and you wish and come up, na kind of thing. But vision now I'm focused, bro. It's a focused plan. Focused, and you are clearly seeing what you need to do, and you get down to doing it. Yeah, thank you. Just from a thinking from.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good one. Good feedback from everyone. And yes, like what you've just said, dreams is general and vision is now specific, where you come down to the detail of it to get things into perspective. So that's what you mean. So yes, all these responses make sense to the difference between dreams and vision. Okay, well, if you look at it, vision is sort of a clear strategic plan for the future, and it's grounded in reality and action, where it involves strategic planning. Whereas a dream is a series of thoughts, images, or just emotions occurring during a sleep or a lofty aspirations, something that you think na you glow. Dreaman lemem. It's just a series of thoughts and imaginations, but general, you are not trying to strategically planning it out na try to execute. So this is the simple definition of vision and dreams. So once again, vision is a clear strategic plan for the future, grounded in reality and action. Whereas a dream is a series of thoughts, images, or emotions occurring during sleep or lofty aspirations, and it's been defined by Tayaba Rema, 2024. So it's a bigger picture that involves strategic planning and action. We still on the project of beautification that we discussed last time. And if you want to have that vision of beautification in your community, then this la tubla point there, you must every Muslim vision blue. Create a greener, cleaner, and more connected community through environment awareness and action. Inspire community pride and collective responsibility for shared space. And then we move to our next step, or the next process, which is now our objective now. So it talks about what specific result do you want to achieve. Based on that project about beautification, tree planting, we came up with 3 specific results that we want to achieve, and this is, we want to engage 100 residents in sustainable initiatives. The second result that we want to achieve is to reduce neighborhood litter by 50% within 6 months. And the third result that we want to achieve based on our beautification and tree planting program is for us to plant 20 trees in public spaces over the next 6 months or year.
200.
Oh yeah, plant 200 trees. You know, 2,200. Yes, so those are the specific results that we want to achieve for our beautification and tree planting program. And then the third one is strategy. How we will approach the objectives now. The first one is for us to foster a good partnership. That is, we have to collaborate with local schools, NGOs, and city council to ensure that our objective is met. And the second one is for us to make awareness by running educational workshops and campaigns. The third one is for us to get everyone involved, and that is through organizing monthly community cleanup and tree planting events. So within a month, we are planning to plant 200 trees as our objective. And also, we must never forget about incentives or reward. At least sama masih mulai kamatok na work one time you participate with small gift or rewards and thank yous from the sponsors that we receive for the beautification and tree planting program. Okay, we'll go to 4 and 5. So now you can take 5 minutes break. Come back and we complete 4 and 5, and then you will get your task, and you start work on it. Not yet, now. Steps now, and which is planning. So in planning, we will see and talk about the steps involved, resources that we will pull together. That will include asset-based and need-based resources, and the timeline and responsibilities who's gonna be involved in each of the tasks. So given the table, we have the task on our left, and the first task for the project is to form a steering committee, not form, but sorry, form a steering committee, and timeline, it will take 1 week. The person who's gonna responsible for forming the steering committee is the community leader, and the resources that will be needed for accomplishing this task is the volunteer list. From there, we move down to funding aspect of it now. So it's about securing the funds. It will take 2 weeks. So it starts from week 2 and ends in week 4. So it's sort of a continuous thing. And the person responsible will be the treasurer of the group. Resource needed is the grant application form from the donor or sponsors that will help fund the project. Then we move down to design campaign materials. This will come in the 3rd week of the project process cycle. And the person responsible or the team responsible is the marketing team now. The resources that will be needed to accomplish this is the flyers, posters, and also we have the Facebook platform now, TikTok, and those social media platforms that we can utilize and use to make awareness and market our community project or our campaign. And then we come down to schedule monthly events that will happen in week 4. And it will be done by the events coordinator with his team. The resources needed for this is the venue to conduct the event, the tools that will be needed, and volunteers to execute the project. And our final task now for the community project is we now order trees and supplies, and it will be a month thing, and it's the responsibility of the logistics team, and we will need tree sampling, gloves, tools, and whatever that you will need to plant trees and get the project moving. So those are only example that I can give, still based on the community beautification and tree planting program. Okay, and this is the activity planning matrix that you will use now. So the first one, this one is just the general idea. or the task, timeline, responsibility, and resources. So it's just a general idea of how we will get our project running. But now we will go to the activity planning matrix. It's the detailed part of our project now. So, and this is the table. And we have 5 columns. The first one is what needs to be done, activity of the program. Second column is how will it be done, and it focuses on the steps that is involved in the community project cycle, who will be responsible in detail, when and where, what we need and how much will it cost. And for our next week lesson now, we will touch more on budgeting and some little bit of financial aspects side of the project. But for now, this is what our activity planning should look like for our small community project. And this is your task, your first task for this week. And it will be due in week 7, which is next week. I will upload it onto Cluster, so take note and make sure that you get this from the cluster. But this is how you're going to write your first task for this topic. And firstly, you will have to select a community project of your choice. Second is you will follow the community process, project process structure that we just went through. And now you will develop your own community project by using the planning, activity planning matrix that I just went through for your project planning. And words limitation is 1,500 to 2,000 words. I hope you all are familiar with CLTC writing guide, so just follow the writing guide and do up your small community project for us to assess. Is 1,500 words big plat Tomas or am I right? If I'm big plat Tomas, okay, I will decrease it down to 3,000 words.
Sorry, come again.
Okay, what I'm saying is, I'm just asking if 1,500 to 2,000 words is too much for you to write. If that's too much now, okay, I can decrease it down to 3,000 words.
You are increasing.
Oh, sorry. Me masilip ya. Okay, so just do
I
what
think
you want.
1,000 to 500.
Okay, while the lesson is still fresh in your mind, I just want you to just brainstorm and do your draft. And also you can WhatsApp or you can email me your community project topic that you will write about. Using the 5 community project process that we just go through. And probably on Wednesday, I will just go through the budget component of the project process. Just a smaller bit of it so that it can give you the idea on how to do up a small budget for your project. Tony Moreta.
Yes, I'm right.
Okay, thank you. You just use this activity planning matrix, and from there you can expand on that and do up your initial write-up. So if you have anything to ask, anything to say, you can just speak up. So I know where you are. And, we can try to work things out on this first task. But it's just simple. You follow, firstly you have to choose your community project, and then you follow the community project process. I will go about addressing your objectives and strategy, and then you will plan it out in detail by using the activity planning matrix table that I just went through with you, and it should be more than 2,000 words. But I will upload the notes on cluster this PowerPoint slide, but everything including the activity planning matrix has been uploaded already for you in cluster. But for those of you who don't have access to cluster, you can always consult me through WhatsApp or Gmail, which I did send it to you already. So before we close up, I just want you to take 5 minutes to sit down and brainstorm, come up with a certain community project that you will decide and you will work on as your first task. And then you can send it over to me. So I give you 5 minutes to just sit down and you go through your project planning. This is not a group activity. This is your first task now, so you will have to work individually. That's what I told you to do last week in group, so that you will have a fair idea on how to go about doing your own community project. So it's a class activity last week that you work in group. But for today, you will apply the same strategy and you will now work individually for your first task. So 5 minutes, you can just sit around, don't talk with your friend. It's your task now, so you vision it out and you try to mobilize it. Sige, wala ka mila kayong labo. Okay, someone just asked me a question. If the project that you will write about will be centered around your campus, like in here, Ortotoklo, or variety in CLTC, but it's open. You will now try to do up a practical community project. So it's open whether you want to write it within CLTC campus or your own community or about yourself. It's all up to you. But I want to see you coming up with a good structure of a community project. After 5 minutes, I will ask you to call out your community projects so Bami can take note and I can be able to know what projects you are to work on.
One and
Okay, thank you. I think everyone has come up with their own project already. So you email me or you WhatsApp me your community project topic to me before Wednesday class. No can be seen write him task you go down. I will upload this task instructions and everything on the cluster this afternoon. So we just focus on brainstorming and come up with a community project that you will do up in your small community, your church or your campus that you establish. So we try to apply the SMART strategy techniques or skills so that our project is or meet most of the criteria that will suit the needs of the community. Yeah. So if you look at it, let's go back to slide. Where slide 4 where it talks about the planning process. Now you will, in terms of secure funding, you can, instead of you putting up grant application, you can write down the names of those authorities or churches or stakeholders, partners that you think that they will support you in terms of funding. It's not only funding, but the materials and the tools that you will need to carry out this project. So it's not about grant application. This is just a proposed community project that we are looking at, but yours now will be a real one And so before you write him, you must also take into consideration the partners, stakeholders that you will work with. All established business staff, so we try to do up a realistic community project. Yes, must be.
Yes. When looking at smart planning in doing a project, finance is always the problem, and sometimes we don't know whether it's going to work out or not. So when doing a project, fundraising always comes in, and fundraising becomes another project again in the project. How can we manage this type of thing?
Nice plus scheme, yeah. That's why I told you to work in a small community project. If me ask you to work the big project now, if I ask you to work on a big project, then funding will become a problem for us. That's why I emphasize more on us working in a community project where we can involve the community members as volunteers, and then from there, time you see strong finish, now you know how to organize, mobilize, strategically plan your community projects now, then we can move on to the bigger projects now. So where need more grant applications, it will need you to write to donors, sponsors for your project. But with that, I think we will cover funding and budget on Wednesday. But for now, we just give that's all community project process outline, just to give you an head start on your first task, because I have only next week to teach.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? Any comment? Any questions? If not, then I think we will wrap up here so that you have some few minutes to reflect now, to try to organize your things, because Misa was plenty people after leaving the classroom, you plus go and you never concentrate on doing your task. So these 20 minutes is useful for you. So you start to brainstorm, get things done in your computer or notebook, and then you can go out. If no got by go out, then miss away, you plan to make you work too. Okay.
Can you repeat that due date again? Due date.
The due date. The due date is. I'll not be teaching you on week 8, so it's not week 8. It should be next week, but you decide on the date now. It's good that all of you are in the class today, so you decide on a date that is suitable for you to submit your paper. Because I know that you have other workload and other things to do, so you plus Kelly, and then you choose a date for me.
Can we say next week Saturday, 11 o'clock in the night?
Okay. Saturday, 11 o'clock night. Does everyone agree with the date and time? Okay, the Barnes campus people said yes, they go with your timing and date. What about the late team? Hello, Lay. Where's your mic?
I know we said we have other assignments to do. So can we have 2 weeks, please, from now?
If it's gonna be 2 weeks from now, then Emba add, because I have only 3 weeks to teach you for this term, which is last week, this week, and next week.
One bell.
We agree with them.
We agree with Mosby and I think Barnes too. One bell away.
Okay. I think in touch also, on Wednesday we'll touch a bit on funding and budget, so that I can help you plan work towards completing your project last part, and you can be able to submit it on Saturday next week. Also now, also changing date, you go back on Sunday, 11:59 Sunday.